case that has captured the hearts of people across the country.
It's a horrible tragedy for their family, horrible tragedy for our community.
Just one day after investigators searched Kelsey Berreth's home, they arrested her fiancé.
She doesn't run off, and someone knows where she's at.
The Colorado mother has been missing since Thanksgiving. Police do not know where Kelsey is. Her cell phone was pinged in Idaho, and they are working to recover that phone.
Gruesome new details about the alleged murder of Kelsey Berreth.
Patrick Frazee contacted Crystal Lee in Idaho on 3 separate occasions, had her come to Colorado to murder Kelsey.
We wouldn't even know where the murder happened in the apartment, even which room or where it happened at all, without her testimony.
She says Frazee told her he blindfolded Kelsey with a sweater to have her smell a scented candle. Once the blindfold was secure, he beat her to death with a bat. She says Frazee put Kelsey's body in a tote and took it to a ranch in Fremont County. Kenny says she was with Frazee when he later burned her body at his Teller County property.
Certainly when Kelsey was a missing person, we were all hoping this would end much more favorably.
I want to get you caught up on a case that we're following in Colorado. It's the murder trial of Patrick Frazee. He's on trial for the murder of his fiancée, Kelsey Berreth. And today, the mistress who claims she helped Frazee clean up his condo after the murder took the stand and dropped a bombshell. At one time, Crystal Lee Kenny was pregnant with Patrick Frazee's child while she was married to another man. Joining me tonight from outside the courthouse in Cripple Creek, Colorado, is Sam Kramer, reporter for our Scripps affiliate KOAA News 5. Sam, thanks so much for joining us. Bring us up to speed as to what happened today inside that courtroom when the mistress, the nurse, Crystal Lee, took the stand.
Yeah, Vinny, thanks for having me. So it was a powerful day, and we didn't have a witness list before this, so we didn't essentially know that she was going to be taking the stand, but she was on the stand for about 4.5 hours, and it was incredibly powerful. She detailed really the entire timeline of when she first met Frazee in 2006. They started dating on and off. She finds a husband, marries him, and instead, then, as you said, has an affair with Frazee in late 2015, has his child, or was going to have his child, was pregnant with his child, and they decided to get an abortion in 2016 before eventually she kind of comes back to him thinking that he's the right guy, and that's when she gets involved with this, solicitation to commit murder charges that she was really involved in, though she didn't, that she's not facing those. So very powerful testimony. She detailed how she cleaned up Kelsey Berreth's townhome, really kind of how she felt that her life was in imminent danger based on Frazee, what he said, his demeanor, his behavior. He knew everything about her, and prosecutors have called him a master of manipulation. Her testimony really seemed to back that up really all day long. It was almost hard to believe, just the amount of detail that she shared, because it is so overwhelming and stuff that we have not heard covering this case for almost a year now.
So, Sam, she wasn't there for the murder, right? So did Frazee tell her exactly what he did? And if so, detail that for us now.
Yeah, that's correct. So they believe that the murder happened on November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day, that Patrick killed Kelsey in her townhome. Crystal Lee Kenny gets a call later that day from Patrick saying essentially that she has the mess to clean up. She understands that as Kelsey Berreth is dead. She couldn't come down right away, so she drives down the next day, really November 23rd, through the night, showing up at Kelsey's home in Woodland Park, Colorado, on the morning of November 24th. And she cleaned it up then. Then later, after cleaning it up and bringing some trash bags, including some of those bloody items, she said that Frazee really opened up the murder. She said you would never understand how hard it was to eat Thanksgiving dinner with his family after killing the mother of his child and having her stored in a tote in the back of his pickup truck. So to run you through what happened, she says, this is all according to Frazee, that he came in to her townhome hiding a baseball bat in a sweater. And she says that he tied that sweater over Berreth's head so she couldn't see. They're playing a game of guess the scent of a candle, essentially. And he says he told Kenny that he just started swinging and kept swinging. And later on in the testimony, we heard that Berreth's last words were, "Please stop," but nonetheless kept swinging. There was blood everywhere, in the living room, on the walls, on TVs, on furniture, on the blinds to the windows in the bathroom, just incredibly everywhere. And he said, he just kept swinging, eventually killing her. Then he took a black tote box that was in the back of his truck, normally uses it to store his horse farrier tools, and then put her body in that tote. Took it to a ranch in Fremont County later that night and stored it there until she came, helped clean up the crime scene, and then went back to that ranch to grab that tote, bring it back to his property, and burn that evidence so that police couldn't find it.
So, and police have never recovered a body in this case. Did he ever, according to, again, the prosecution witness here, Crystal Lee Kenny, did he ever say why he did it? Why he would murder the mother of his child, who was also described as his fiancée?
Yeah, no, an exact verbatim motive has not come out, but in the last 3 days of this trial, today's day 4, we've learned a lot about Patrick's family situation. That his family, according to testimony from actually Kelsey Berreth's family, really didn't like Kelsey. They didn't view her with respect. She wasn't really welcome at their home, but we also learned that he may have had some financial issues. He had missed payments on a loan worth more than $70,000 to the Farm Credit Bureau. We understand that he is involved in an ongoing legal battle for his late father's assets with his brother and sister, those assets worth about $400,000. So they haven't addressed the exact verbatim motive. We do know all along that Frazee told Crystal Lee Kenny that he thought the daughter that he parented, that he shared with Kelsey Berreth, was in danger, that Kelsey Berreth was harming that daughter. But really, police have said all along they have found no proof of that.
And how about Crystal Lee? Was she cross-examined today? And if so, did the defense attempt to attack her in any way?
She wasn't cross-examined yet. In fact, she wasn't even done with her testimony when court adjourned just a little bit before 5 o'clock. They took that much time going through, again, how she first met Frazee in 2006 up until really the last thing they said was Frazee sharing Kelsey Berreth's last words with Crystal Kenny. I have to imagine that the defense will be able to cross-examine her tomorrow, and we know that that is going to be a very contentious process. They've already outlined in their opening statements they plan on attacking her credibility. Remember, this is somebody that first lied to the FBI twice about her knowledge of this case. She lied to her friends and family about what she was doing, how she knew him. So I imagine that the defense attorneys will definitely key in on that.
And whether it's an opening statement or through cross-examination, has it come out in any manner what the defense theory here is on what happened to Kelsey Berreth?
When they filed some pre-trial documents, they said that the way that they were attacking this case is using a general denial, but they do plan to point the finger right back at Crystal and say, no, it was not Patrick Frazee that was responsible for Kelsey Berreth's death, that instead it was Crystal Kenny who really perpetrated this crime, though they haven't said how or when or, all of the specifics that come with that.
That's amazing. This is going to be some cross-examination, crucial stuff. Sam Kramer from News 5 out there in Colorado, really appreciate your time tonight. Thanks so much, sir. All right, folks, going to bring you my think tank tonight. We got 3 criminal defense attorneys tonight, so all right. I got my work cut out for me. Stephen Byrne, Noemi Poutier, and Noah Pines. Welcome to you all. Great to see you.
Good evening.
Oh, they look mean tonight, folks. All right, let's start here, okay? You've got the mistress, right? The other woman who's also allegedly cheating on her husband with Patrick Frazee, the defendant here. And she lies, I guess, initially, but now is telling everything she knows. Let's talk about the cross-examination. How much does she get attacked? And how aggressively do you think the defense has to be in literally pointing the finger at her as being the one responsible for the death of Kelsey Berreth, a woman whose body's never been recovered?
Well, it's going to go to, she gave a lot, according to the report, she gave a lot of detail, right? Lots of detail, including, I wrote, "Please stop," which were her last words. Now, how do you get that detail? There's only 2 ways. You were there, right? Or somebody tells you. Is it really plausible that Frazee would give her that much detail, including those words, "Please stop"? I don't see that. I just don't see somebody going, and then the last thing she said to me was, "Please stop."
So you think what's going to happen here is that they are literally going to go after her and through the
yeah.
cross-examination make a case against her.
The only reason why you know she said please stop is because you were the one hitting her with a baseball bat.
Who's going to believe the woman that actually, I mean, I'm in agreement with him. I mean, who's going to believe this woman that helped commit this crime and not think that she actually committed the crime? It's just, I just
She says
don't
she's
buy
coming
it.
in afterwards to clean up, that she was solicited 3 times
I don't buy
to
it.
do it, and she refused to do it.
Well, Sam said it. When he was in the courtroom today, he said what he heard was hard to believe. And that's what the defense wants the jury to think. This testimony is hard to believe. That's all they have to do, is get the jury to say this witness should not be believed.
So, and this is, this is similar to the other case we're covering here on Court TV, which is, all right, the defense is going to have an alternative theory. Do they have to go any further than the cross-examination? Does the defense have to have some independent evidence that would somehow link Crystal Lee, the cooperating witness for the prosecution, the mistress, to this murder? Do they take it further than the cross-examination?
Well, I mean, if you can prove that if you're trying to prove that she's lying, right, and then you can prove that she's lied about something else, right, that's sort of what the defense would do. She lied to the FBI. Why? Because she was involved. She lied.
Right, that's cross-examination, but
no,
do you
but
take it a step further and try to present actual evidence that links her to this case?
I think she's giving all the evidence you need.
But
I mean, she has.
But I think the defense went too far in their opening statement, and so far what they've been doing. They don't have to prove who did it. They just have to raise a doubt that their client did it. If they're going to promise the jury that the mistress committed this crime, they may have overextended the story, and it may be more than the jury will be willing to buy.
Which is just like the other case that we're covering here on Court TV, Florida versus Henry Segura. That's a case where the defense absolutely promised that they can prove who committed this murder. And we're going to talk about that and listen to the opening statement of the defense next.